Biden will meet with Democratic governors today to talk about his disappointing debate performance. Voters raised concerns after seeing him face off against former President Donald Trump last week. Some say Biden appeared weak and incoherent. The Texas congressman is now the first Democrat in Congress to publicly call on Biden to drop out. Governor Beshear says Democrats just want to hear from the president directly.
It's like seeing somebody that you haven't seen in a while and they seem a little off. And you asking how they're doing and then listening to their answer is both showing concern for them, but also just trying to make sure that things are okay.
And some outlets have suggested that Beshear could replace Biden on the presidential ticket. The governor recently called the idea flattering.